Видеокамера.
А вот так уже выходили.
Да. Уважаемые члены совета, прошу включить камеру, мы начинаем. Профессор Нурашикин, please switch on your camera.
Здравствуйте, уважаемые коллеги.
А теперь все в порядке?
Здравствуйте.
Привет.
Здравствуйте, да.
Добрый день,
Здравствуйте, здравствуйте.
уважаемые коллеги.
Ваша камера не нужна, вы можете отключить. Юрий Господинович, во время дискуссии подключите камеру. Пока сделали совет. Юрий Господинович.
Оу,
Во время дискуссии включите камеру. Сейчас только члены совета камеры.
хорошо, хорошо, хорошо. Все, отключил.
Спасибо. Очень. Уважаемые члены диссертационного совета, уважаемые присутствующие, разрешите открыть заседание диссертационного совета при Международном университете информационных технологий по направлению подготовки кадров 8D061 информационно-коммуникационные технологии по защите диссертаций Әйтім Ә.Қ. Состав постоянных членов диссовета утвержден приказом председателя правления ректора АО МУИТ номер 61П от 11 марта 2025 года в составе 4 постоянных членов. Файзабаева Лиза, доктор технических наук, профессор, заведующий кафедрой информационной системы, председатель диссертационного совета. Колесникова Катерина Викторовна, доктор технических наук, профессор кафедры информационной системы, заместитель председателя диссертационного совета. Омаров Батырхан Султанович, PhD, ассоциированный профессор, профессор-исследователь кафедры математической компьютерной моделирования АО МУИТ. Балакова Мадина Тулигенна, кандидат технических наук, ассоциированный профессор, профессор кафедры компьютерной инженерии АО МУИТ, ученый секретарь диссертационного совета. На сегодняшнее заседание приказом председателя правления ректора АО МУИТ номер 124П от 26 мая 2025 года на основании решения диссертационного совета протокол номер 2 от 12 мая 2025 года был утвержден временный состав диссертационного совета в количестве 3 человек. Алина Ракишин, PhD, ассоциированный профессор Национального университета Тенага, Малайзия. Мусабаев Рустам Рафитович, кандидат технических наук, заведующий лабораторией анализа и моделирования информационных процессов, Институт информационных и вычислительных технологий. Касымова Динара Тугельбековна, PhD, заведующая кафедрой информационно-коммуникационной технологии АО МУИТ, университет имени Теншпая. Таким образом, на заседании присутствует 7 членов диссертационного совета, 5 офлайн и 2 онлайн. Форум имеется. Сегодня, 19 июня 2025 года, первый вопрос на повестке дня – защита диссертации Әйтім Ә.Қ на тему Models and Methods for the Automatic Processing in Structured of Unstructured Information по образовательной программе 8D06-101 «Интеллектуальные системы». Научные консультанты. Сатыбалдиева Рустам Жакановна, кандидат технических наук, ассоциированный профессор Института автоматики и информационных технологий, Казанский национальный исследовательский технический университет имени Шатбаева. Вуйцех Вальдемар, доктор технических наук, профессор, Люблинский технологический университет, город Люблин, Польша. Официальный рецензент. Тукеев Алишер Панарбекович, доктор технических наук, профессор, кафедра информационных систем, Казанский национальный университет имени Аль-Фараби. Мангарбаев Ульхен Джумаджанович, PhD, профессор, заместитель генерального директора Института информационных и вычислительных технологий. Диссертация Әйтім Ә.Қ выполнена на базе кафедры информационной системы АО МУИТ. Диссертация выносится на защиту впервые. Язык защиты английский. Отечественные и зарубежные научные консультанты присутствуют онлайн. Положительные отзывы отечественного и зарубежного научных консультантов имеются. Официальные рецензенты присутствуют. Есть ли у членов Совета вопросы или замечания по повестке дня? Если вопросов и замечаний нет, есть предложение утвердить повестку дня. Кто за? Прошу поднять руки. Таким образом, повестка дня утверждается открытым голосованием единогласно. Слово для ознакомления с личным делом диссертанта предоставляется ученому секретарю диссертационного совета и Балаковой Мадине Тургеновой.
Әйтім Ә.Қ родилась 13 июля 1995 года, казашка. В 2015 году окончила Назарбаев интеллектуальную школу физико-математического направления. В 2017 году получила степень бакалавра АО МУИТ по специальности информационной системы. В 2019 году получила степень магистра, также в АО МУИТ по специальности информационной системы. С 2019 по 2022 год обучалась в докторантуре АО МУИТ по образовательной программе интеллектуальной системы. С 2019 года по настоящее время работает на кафедре информационной системы АО МУИТ, профессор. Диссертация на тему Models and Methods for the Automatic Processing of Unstructured Information выполнена на кафедре информационной системы АО МУИТ. Тема диссертации утверждена приказом председателя управления ректора АО МУИТ 5Д от 30 октября 2019 года. Диссертация рекомендована к защите на основании решения расширенного заседания кафедры информационной системы протокола МИТ 28 апреля 2025 года. По теме диссертации опубликовано 15 научных работ, в том числе 2 статьи в международном лицензированном научном журнале «Процентив 46», за год 4 в журналах рекомендованных комитетом, 4 материала международной конференции и 3 других изданий. В личном деле соискателя содержится отзывы отечественных и зарубежного научных консультантов, положительное заключение расширенного заседания кафедры информационной системы, диссертационная работа в твердом переплете на электронном носителе, список научных трудов и их копий, заключение этической комиссии об отсутствии нарушений в процессе планирования оценки отбора, проведения и распространения результатов научных исследований, копия приказа об утверждении темы, копия приказа об допуске к защите, справка с АО МУИТ о отсутствии диссертации, заимствованных материалов, ссылки на автора источных заимств, справка о сдаче экземпляра диссертации в библиотеку АО МУИТ. Вставленные материалы соответствуют требованиям типового положения.
Есть вопросы к ученому секретарю по личному делу соискателя? Если вопросов нет, то переходим к основной части заседания. Слово предоставляется соискателю Әйтім Ә.Қ для изложения основных положений диссертации. Регламент 20 минут. Сейчас.
So, good morning, honorable members of Committee of Dissertation Council, colleagues, professors, and the guests. So, my name is Әйтім Ә.Қ, and today I'm going to present my doctoral dissertation project entitled "Models and Methods for Automated Processing of Unstructured Information." My scientific supervisory objective. My scientific supervisor is Satogodi Stanjakan, a candidate of technical science, associate professor at Bayer University. Foreign supervisor is Әйтім Ә.Қ, doctor of technical science, professor, Dublin University of Technology, Poland. So here, agenda of my presentation. So let's go and let's begin from the relevance of the research and what is Kazakhstan's national strategy as Digital Kazakhstan national science development strategy and educated nation. Here highlight the needs of using Kazakh language and improving tools in the Kazakh language. And for today, as we know, growing and importance of big data and the AI really impact for our world, and Kazakh language must remain especially developed in this direction. So next about the purpose of research, and the main purpose of research is build a comprehensive system for linguistical tools which will be combined between machine learning and rule-based methodology. So about objectives of the research, for now you can see the main four objectives for the research. First, about conducting the literature review, about collecting, annotated, and cleaning the own corpus. Next, about automatic text processing system, design and implemented. And next, about working with a hybrid model for increasing accuracy for post and the near NLP task. And the last main about develop own QNLP library by the rule-based hybrid model. So object of the research is the primary object is about unstructured textual information in a Kazakh language. Subject of the research about models, methods, algorithm of automated processing in unstructured Kazakh textual information. So in the beginning, we with my supervisor decided divide for main research questions and predict some hypotheses how it could be work in my doctoral dissertation. So first about how we can build and integrate NLP models with really difficult tasks as the annotated and the rich morphological structure in Kazakh language. The next about how and what would be most effective models in the corpus for collecting all corpus. Next about using Kazakh for adapting the Kazakh, and the last about morphological and syntaxis tasks, how it would be really combined in a rule-based machine learning, deep learning data environment. So about scientific novelties, main three scientific novelty about original Kazakh text corpus. Next about novel in the first QNLP Python library. And the last about developing hybrid model as Kazakh PLMST CRF implementations. So scientific provision submitted for defense about first about annotated corpus for major Kazakh NLP tasks. Next, hybrid architecture for automatic linguistic analysis of Kazakh unstructured text. And there's the last about Python-based QNLP library with a morphological analysis, post tagging, and named entity recognition of Kazakh text. So for now, you see the local and foreign researcher which contributed for my topic. And here you can see a lot of researchers in Kazakhstan from KazLU, from Institution of Information and Computations, about Nazarbayev University, SDU, and Asia University. So in the beginning, as I mentioned, first object about conducting literature review, and according to the literature review, for now you see some statistical facts about Scopus, Google Scholar, and the semantic scholar articles. Here, how during 10 years, the problem of Kazakh language solved between rule-based NLP, Kazakh NLP evolved from rule-based NLP to deep learning models, and for now, most widespread solutions among deep learning models. So in this slide, you see some methodological comparison between all state methods. For example, rule-based methods, or maybe deep learning or machine learning methods, and here advantages and the disadvantages. Anyway, we have advantages and the disadvantages, but choosing the methodology depends on the task, depends on the object of the task. Next, about overview of dataset. Before the beginning, collecting and creating own corpus, I understand such as in internet, in open source, really difficult to find exactly clean and ready dataset which I or other researcher can use. And here, yes, we have a lot of database, but problem is about non-access, or maybe not annotated, not ready for using for research. In this case, we decided with my supervisor, firstly, collect own corpus and create crowding. For now, in the slide, you see some diagram about 4 layers. First, about news layers. In Crowley input layers, we work with a news website, and this Crowley helps to collect and work with a news website as tengrinews.kz, Adana.kz, Kiryevinfo.kz, and other in a Kazakh language website. After that, processing layers about collecting, filtering, and in parallel downloading different pages in this web page. After that, about decision maker, about exactly finding in what languages, in a Kazakh or maybe in a different. After that, storage layer about cleaning with noises with HTML tag and the other. After that, it will be converted for JSON file. So here is some performance metric of Q crawler. The Q crawler is a stand for Q. It's a Kazakh crawler. My crawler, which I developed. So here, totally 31 website, which I mentioned. In every website for one site, it's a 20-25 articles about prediction here exactly for 97. Sometimes it will be a problem with some identifying the language. Due to duplication will be among 19%, and the totally 1 million token according to Q-Crawler solution from 31 website. Here, comparison between my crawler and other existing. And here, I want to highlight about filter for Kazakh, because I really concentrate my attention only for Kazakh language. Also about cleaning, and most important about output readiness for NLP annotation is that my last JSON file ready for use in a different NLP task, in a Kazakh NLP task. So before going to the main task, I decided to check my hypothesis, my research questions about really Kazakh and the CRF help to increase accuracy. In this case, before going to the next task, here I checked, and by the accuracy you see as here exactly by the training the model, exactly Kazakh and CRF architecture help to increase good at high accuracy in a new task. So comparison this Kazakh and CRF with other models, and here we see about output. The last F1 score is 89.4% higher than other solutions. Comparison between baseline model here also with other multi-language pair or maybe space where with other baseline models. So after that, I decided to go and start to the next my hypothesis. And here you see how I collected the work of the knowledge structure in different sites. In the beginning, working with a Kazakh news website. After that, the data preprocessing, when we collected the prepared data. After that, aggregated in structured data. After that, work in the two directions for morphological analysis through base knowledge, and for deep learning before near and the post tagging. So, and the most important task about creating comprehensive QNLP framework, which will be help in the help to work for scientists, and it will be combination between hybrid model as a Casper, PLMC, and CRF, and it will be exactly flexible solution which help to increase accuracy in a different QNLP tasks. So for now, you say QNLP models. QNLP is a stand for Kazakh Natural Language Processing. It's my framework which I developed for using the hybrid model and the roof-based architecture. And to hear about methodology, about the first morphological, post near, after the semantic labeling, for reference, and then about tokenizing as a word. Next, about how QNLP morphological analysis work. First, about work analyzer, morphological analyzer. First step, analyze and load the dictionary for all lemma. After that, contained in a different part of speech. After that, After that, about harmonize the surface suffix when we identify the harmony rule. And that's the last about classifications of division SLO, lemma, or postword as a part of word. So for now, we see the system architecture of QNLP library with integration with Q-Crawler. Q-Crawler helps us to collect corpus. After this ready data set will be following to the clean pre-processing. After that, annotated. After that, working with the manual corrections, checking is it exactly correct or no. After that, final annotated corpus. Two steps for checking annotated corpus was realized, and after that, training phases, test phases in the evaluation. According to the corpus, according to the database, I divided to 80% for training, 80% for training, 10% for test, and then 10% for evaluation. So data preparations for three directions for post tagging, morphological tagging, the name, entity recognition. As you know, it's from news, as a category use, and also additional from Wikipedia, legal test. So, and finally, format will be ready for using in a different for using for NLP task for every task, and totally my corpus consists of more than 1 billion token. Among 100,000 sentences. In the post tagging, it will be 100,000 label token. In morphological tagging, will be 250,000 labels, and in the identity recognition task is 100,000 annotated sentences. In the comparison analysis between all library and the by-library, most competitor is Stanza, developed by Stanford University. And here we see some comparison between F1 squared will be the high than other. Why? Because Stanza, for example, don't have morphological analysis, and here have it but not full. In this case, it will be accuracy to identify the word. Here will be in my QNLP library will be the high. Next, about mathematical models, mathematical meaning. Here, I decided to provide the four main directions: morphological word formations. After that, about morphological analysis, about sequence models, and there's the last related with hybrid model. So first, about morphological analysis, when we divide the word for different part of token, word, and finally work with a suffix divided by root plus suffix, and then analyze all positions, what will be label sequences, the positions of word into the sentences. Next, about working with a CRF model. Here about identify likelihood solutions and how about log functions, how in fact to minimize this kind of functionality realized in these mathematical models. Next, about using the Derby algorithm, how we can exactly divide our weighted token after it recognize what is the part of the word into the sentence. So, and the last mathematical models about the BLMC layer, which we work with a B direction. Yeah, in the beginning is to the format backward and the forward checking the word, and after that concatenated that in a hidden layer identify what will be the last correct word in the two directions. So for now, you see suppose proposed architecture for low resource ecological analysis. Here, you see one example is Firstly, we divided for the token. After that, encoded in 12 layers in a Casper embedding. After that, in the two backward and the forward direction in LMS check two word. After that, concatenate and the root theoret layer. And here we divided by the law as a BIO as a beginning, inside and outside. And for now, you see that just how in the is outside and the meaning is not related with the year, and about it's the beginning first. So next comparison between two layers, two-dimensional layers, BLMST, after that the PYCM CRF and the Casper PYCM CRF comparison. Just first for the input token, after that we work with the embedding layers, going to Casper, importing multiple head attention, after that go to PLCM layer, and after the last will be a conditional random failed layer when we exactly can identify the sequence labels. After that, predict them with BIO logic. So experimental evaluation of models here you see just such as in the 5 epochs we how my models improve the work stable without any changes. And next about comparison Casper, the USCM and the Sierra Group alternative variant. And in most solutions, Casper, USCM and the Sierra Group is good and the most good decision for morphological analysis, new or maybe for stating. The next about some accuracy and detail P1's work as a full canopy in yellow, full canopy result. How it look like it's among 85% accuracy without, for example, CRFs. It would be happen LSTM and the Casper. Here will be some comparison what could be happen if we delete some model or maybe without using any models. So after that, also for increasing accuracy, I decided to retraining the model, and for now accuracy is really reach up, and then you see when this diagram is in first checking it will be a little bit low, but after that, after the training, it's really increased the high result. So about analysis of near and the post tagging, the most problem is identifying organization. For example, when name of person and organization will be similar, here in the context we must identify what will be organization or maybe city or maybe name of person. Other problems, other work will be related to post tagging when involved in the right solution must be known, but solution is adjective. And here difficulties between some particular suffixes and in a verb, also in a category of noun when we add different suffixes in the end, and it will be impact, and models sometimes confuse and incorrectly predict this kind of post solutions. Here, conclusion of error analysis and post tagging, such as the most problem is identifiable from noun to adjectives. Here, interface UI interface with QNLP. You see three options as morphological post in the year. When we click to morphological, result will look like in the right side of the site. And when we click to post tag, the result will look like this. As division, also explanation how it will be. And the last about mere analysis. And here also for division, for mere text. In the conclusion, I want to highlight the two main importance of my topic. First about scientific, and next about practical value of my doctoral dissertation. First about scientific, as I created a vision purpose or unstructured data collected in the working with a lot of data, printed, collected, and annotated, and for now it's ready for reproduce and use in a different experiment. Next about the Python library QNLP, which exactly important for developer for now, not only for developer but also for scientists for continue improving Kazakh NLP, and the implementation of rule-based and the CASBER, the POSTM and the CRF modules, and the practical value be for researcher, editor, and developer who work in the Kazakh NLP, and it will be help to increase in the work with speech recognition, with speech recognition, text recognition, with a different class and multitask. So about publications in a scope of 3 articles, one proceeding and 2 in the journal. In the focus 1 journal, 4 articles published, and in other publications, it's one proceeding in a conference paper and other bulletin in the journal. So here you see authority certificates for QNLP and the Q-Crawler. Acts of implementation to organization related with working with 2 directions as a scientist and for developing. And for now, this organization used the library for own use. And also QNLP published in GitHub and Hugging Face platforms, repositories, and open sources. So thank you for the attention. Welcome to any questions.
Соискателя почты, уважаемые члены диссовета, какие будут вопросы, коллеги, по работе. Dear members of the dissertation commission, are there any questions?
May I ask any question? Thank you very much for the very interesting talk. And the first question is, you know that we are living in the LLM era, when large language models are very highly used in different areas, including the natural language processing. But your work is somehow more or less classical. You're using classical approaches like different models, rule bases. But why you do not use LLM? Because LLM can be widely used to solve many of the Kazakh-related tasks. For example, you can use it for name entity recognition, for post tagging, and you can compare, you can generate some data sets using the large language models. And the question is, why you're not comparing your work with LLM, and why you're not using LLM capabilities in your research?
Thank you so much for the question. Yes, I agree, such as for now, LLM modules for integrated with AI and the GPT is really, for now, useful, yeah. But for you working with LLM modules, it will be, must be a lot of, firstly, computational abilities first. Why I don't work with the LLM. Second, about the higher purpose must be. For example, in my CASBER, the DRSTM and the CRF, it's flexible, and only not so data set and not so most of purpose. For example, in the LLM, when I also research literature review, I check how many tokens, how many data set must be. For example, in the LLM model, minimum 100 million token or maybe data set must be. In mine, for example, it would be easy to check. Is it okay for working, how to increase it? And in the open access, also no integration between not only near or post or morphological. In my, it would be 3 directions. In this case, Casper, LSTL, and the CRF was the most good solution for increasing and for checking and implementing QNLP library. In this case, I choose this, not the LLM or other models. Why I compare with not compare to LLM? Because it's really if I compare it really, but in my dissertation documents. But here I reflect only what could be flexible, faster, and related with computational capability of computers. This case.
Thank you. But see, what are you speaking about is when you want to use LLM to train it from scratch. For example, you want you're taking some big data corpus with millions of the tokens, but if you can use just already trained LLM, you not need to collect huge data to do any pre-training. You can just using the prompt engineering, because I think that this ChatGPT, DeepSeek LLM, they already can somehow more or less good capabilities to processing the Kazakh textual data. Just you need to design some, for example, prompt, which are asking to name entity recognition, and also you can use few short learning when you provide some few examples how to solve, for example, name entity recognition task, few short learning, and then ask LLM to just maybe annotate your corpus or solve some another problem. In this direction, my previous question was.
And I was also want to add about, for example, LLM or so GPT modules mostly used for question and answers. In my situation, it would be for increasing accuracy of this. Yes, I understand you, but it's really difficult to realize in same time 3 tasks with post, near, and for morphological analysis. In this case, it's when we add these 3 tasks, it's really overload. And it's difficult to models with, for compilate and run this project. In this case, more suitable was Casper, the CRF models. I understand you, and yes, for now I want to also add in QNLP library question and answers. I starting, but accuracy for now not so high. Among 60. In this case, I want to continue working this direction and increase and add. I also added GPT mini third, but I not mentioned about this because accuracy for now not so brilliant. In this case, for now, I try to increase and work in this direction.
Thank you very much. And next question is related with morphological analysis. So morphological analysis is one of the most foundational steps in all other algorithms like name entity recognition, post tagging, part of speech tagging. But morphological analysis, it has some difficulties like morphological disambiguation. For example, when you have different variants, how this word can be morphologically represented. So you have different options, and you need to select one possible, most good option. But in your work, you not mention any tasks related with morphological disambiguation. Do you have any solutions? Maybe is it this problem of morphological disambiguation is considered in your work?
So, yes, according to the literature review, I understand that this real logical analysis will be one important task for classical P, because yes, we have a lot of library, but for example, startup, which is so popular for now, which are generally produced here, difficulties with which you mentioned morphological analysis, and here I work with rule-based rules and also integrated harmony where when we according to the rule, for example, lar, when we add lar to the form, will be exactly lar, not a lia or other. In this case, I trained a lot of time to check this. After that, work with manual annotation. And then actually check every solutions with a specialist if it could be exactly correct or not. And in a morphological analysis, I have one module made by suffix rules, and all suffix rules, all morphological rules, and all necessary rules for morphological analysis will be added in these modules. And also, as you see in the interface, interface here in the Q&A, we see such as it will be divided for several parts of work and describe about every meaning of morphological analysis. Also, so here, yeah, and yes, I agree with you because it was really difficult to realize. A lot of time I spent for this, and I trade for harmony waves, rule-based models, and for rule as a root plus others. In this way, I realized the morphological analysis. In this way, is
the problem is that when you dealing with standard, just if you consider just the isolated word and try to doing some morphological analysis, you can obtain different variants.
Yeah.
So you have different variants how this exact word can be morphologically represented. Because you have different options how to put this in the morphemes and some affixes, and to choose correct form from these several options, you need to consider context. You cannot consider the isolated word, but you need to take into account some contextual words in the your sentence, for example. And do you have something like contextual level analysis when you're doing some morphological analysis? Do you consider in your rule-based approach in your model this contextual, not isolated words, but some contextual to solve this morphological disambiguation problem?
yes, it's also realized in the conceptual model when I work in a different way. Firstly, as you mentioned, such a different variant, as for example, over here, etc. After that, in the conceptual, such as in the text, which, for example, in my corpus, which I collected in like here, with the sentences. In this case, I train in a different way, as with also in the context, this library must to understand. Because in our iterative languages, it's really difficult to understand. For example, in example of close, or maybe in example of near, sometimes it will be person, sometimes it will be city. In this case, in the context, can be library understand the node. It's integrated.
Okay, thank you. And another last question. Your title of your work is consists from the phrase unstructured information.
Yeah.
How is it correct to consider the textual information as unstructured information? Because in my opinion, the textual information, you have some structure. You already have structure like sentences, like words, like some grammatical, morphological. And why you classifying the textual data as unstructured? Maybe it's low structured. Maybe it will be more correct to describe it's low structured information. But totally unstructured, I think it's maybe it's not. How do you think?
Thank you so much. Which needs stuff I think which about the unstructured, the low structured. Here, why you choose and highlight this for unstructured and then every time repeat the object and the subject about unstructured because when I conduct Google literature review, here in the literature review, I understand such as in the Kazakh language. So most one of the also problem is unstructured information, unstructured data. In this case, I choose exactly news because news is one type and one object of unstructured information. In this case, yes, I partially agree with you, but when I approved my topic, unstructured word was more closer for me, maybe. In this case, topic about unstructured information, and then the purpose will also highlight, such as our purpose, exactly unstructured textual information, Kazakh text, and in this case, we for all my actions on unstructured information related with website, Kazakh website, news sites, Kazakh news.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for questions. Next questions.
Thank you, Rustam Rakikovich. Maybe some online participant have any questions? Professor Alin Rahishin, do you have any questions?
Professor Norashikin, do you have any questions for the?
Yeah, thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
All right. Thank you very much for the presentation. Okay, this is a relevant study that addressed a clear gap in language technology for the Kazakh language, particularly within the context of national digital initiatives. However, I have a question: how generalizable are your methods across languages with similar features? Do you think this framework can be extended to Tatar, Uzbek, or Kyrgyzstan? Do you understand my question?
So please repeat again questions.
Whether your framework can be extended to other language, for example, Uzbek.
So thank you so much, Professor Norashikin, for questions. Yes, it can be adapted for Turkic languages as Uzbek or Turkic languages, but with retraining and with adding some rules. So rule-based, some rules of Uzbek languages or maybe Turkic languages. And yes, we can use it. Why I concentrate only for Kazakh language? Because it was really so important for me. Concentrate only for Kazakh. Yes, it can be flexible. It can be changed and trained for new corpus maybe, and realized for other Turkic languages. And about using hybrid model not only for Turkic languages but also for Korean languages, for example, because Korean languages also low resource languages. In this case, also have own problem. And in other languages, in other low resource languages, we can use not CAS, but maybe it will be MBEC or other BEC and CRF and the BLMST models. But generate exactly for Turkic family languages and for other also hybrid model we can use it. But with some update, with the rules, with increasing purpose, and with this main tasks.
Can I have one more question? Yeah, you used Kazbert, right? Kazbert. Was Kazbert trained from scratch or fine-tuned?
Yes, I use Kazbert because Kazbert exactly for Kazakh languages. After that, in the fine-tune also I work with Kazbert and with the hybrid module for two tasks as post and new. But for morphological analysis, it's based on rule-based.
Okay, that's all for the moment.
Thank you so much for your questions, Professor. Any questions?
So, I have a question. So, I would like to ask you about the the proposed model, yeah, Casper, AOS, and CRF. How did you come to this model? Why you use, for example, the IOS and the why not the IGA, for example, or another type of recurrent models, for example, okay.
Thank you so much for good question. Yes, it's in the beginning I mentioned my research questions because in the beginning it's difficult to understand what modules or maybe how I can create new modules from what, and it was really difficult to understand what architecture and the modules could be moved. Why Casper? Why BLMST? Why Casper? Because Casper could be help to embed text. In the beginning here, someone embedding the text, and after that, in the label, sequence label task as a need or post, this task will be more brilliant to work with the CRF. Why? Because the LSTM model working in the two direction with a forward and a backward, and it will be, it's really important in the Kazakh language. Because Kazakh language, as we know, it's low resource languages, and the adulterated nature of Kazakh language, it's difficult to understand or understand the meaning of word in the sentences. In this case, in the LSTM module, we check the word from the beginning and the end, and from the end to the beginning. After that, consolidated and concluded with one solutions. In the CRF, why I work with the CRF? Because here, in the conditional running field layers, we divided for text and for understanding the meaning into the context to be more better. Closer, we check also closer word into the sentence, check the meaning of closer word, and after that can describe what it could be, person, location, or organization in the near examples. In this case, I decided, firstly, as I mentioned in the Q crawler, I decided to check my hypothesis. So here you see, before going to QNLP, I check it. First, I check with the Casper. After that, I added CRF. Why CRF? Because the CRF helped to divide tag in the near tag as a beginning inside the outside tagging, while this law in the BIO text laws. In this case, first I check it. After that, when I go to the next task, I realized that it's just for increasing accuracy and the understanding of my module will be more better after Casper at the LSTM module, after I go to CRF layers. In this case, first I check in Casper, also work over others, but it was so difficult as reloading after that misunderstanding between different tasks in a Kazakh NLP. In this case, Casper CRF in the beginning. After that, when we go to morphological analysis and we integrate it with post tagging, I added also additional layers with the backward and the forward checking in two directions in POC.
Also, next question. So I see, for example, this kind of models here exist. For example, with POS and CRF, for example, for Chinese language. So I see for another language, for example, what is your own novelty, for example, in this model?
So the novelty of Casper, the POC and CRF, when I check a lot of existing models, what could be solutions in open access, I understand such as in maybe yes, for other languages we have this kind of solution, maybe, but for Kazakh in open access and with this kind of accuracy and with these three tasks as a near, post, and morphological analysis, I will open access this kind of modules will be integrated for QNLP library with this kind of high accuracy. If we compare accuracy with my models and with other, it will be more than for different tasks among 5 to 12% accuracy is coming. In this case, I propose justify such as this model really new and with a high accuracy for in the same time in parallel analyze and realize it 2-3 different NLP tasks. In this case, why I compared because as I mentioned, I check for example this slide. I checked in a different for example for first in a Casbia how it will be, after that BLSM how it will be, and in a different and decided edit and what will be happen. After that, I see how after training 5 o'clock and 10 o'clock and 20 o'clock, how it will be work and how it will be adapted for them. In this case, this model will be the novelty is first about high accuracy. After that, about integrating QNLP, open access modular, and we also can add other NLP tasks, not only near, close, and other. In this case, will be this kind of hooks.
I think you didn't understand the question. So I asked from the technical point of view, from the point of view of model. For example, we replace Casbia with So is the difference on the existing this kind of models?
Casbia and Casbia?
For example.
For example.
Yeah, for example, we can change Casbia and change the reset. So we take the same model.
So Casbia and Casbia.
For example, so there are another studies that use
Not yet, maybe
So there are another studies that use their stem cell, for example, this kind of architecture. What's the difference your architecture from the other studies that exist that use this kind of like architectures? For example, we can just Casbia to BERT, and change the data set. So we take the same model. Or no?
I think that will be different.
Just so that you should explain your how node in this architecture.
Will be different models. Yes, I agree. Such as BERT, Casbia, it will be a root of.
What is your own proposition in this?
Own preposition?
Yeah. What did you propose in this architecture? Into this architecture?
So it's I would describe institutions such as if we well, for example, if we replace different layers, what would be happen? If it would be here, and also we trade for give other, as you mentioned, the data set. I think that here would be why I choose Casbia, not a beer, for example, because in a Casbia it's exactly as we know for Kazakh languages. In this case, Casbia would be more suitable in this case for identify and integrate with other words. About what will be comparison between my model and the other, why it's novel, why it's something new, because here again I want to concentrate attention for 3 tasks: morphological, near, and post. As in for now, maybe for other languages, yes, I don't. I agree, but for Kazakh, open access and developing three tasks in the same time knows this kind of model. In this case, my model would be by the novelty. For example, when I research different literature review, I see only, for example, for near, for example, Kaz near. were made separately for goals or separately for morphological analysis. But in this module, we check how this module work in same time in a different task. This will be important. How this hybrid module work and understand these two directions as a near and a close. In this case, it's really difficult to realize in same time because we must edit and write additional layers, additional modules for understanding. In this case, CAS PLSTM CRF plus rule base for near and the close task for Kazakh languages would be this will be also this.
Did you do literature review for another languages?
That's languages, yes.
For example, they can be exactly the same for another languages.
Another languages the same models. I read it for comparison of 40 scientists. From 40 scientists comparison between 30 languages, how 30 languages, for example, use B or the C and the CRF. Or maybe here, not exactly gospel, but here I read it and see about accuracy. But here, yes, I read it in a different direction, not only Turkic family languages, but also other. But most literature review related to Turkic languages of local and the foreign researcher who exactly research our languages of Central Asia.
What about non-Turkish language or another language that does not the same, not the same as Turkish language, another type of language,
I can
or Russian, or Chinese, or English, or another language.
So Chinese and the English language will be high resource languages. In this case, I skip it and go to Korean languages, for example. Why the research, why the literature review, and things such as Korean languages also will be one as a Kazakh, also difficult language for morphological analysis and for understanding. In this case, Korean languages, I already checked it, but about Chinese English, it was a high resource in this case, and the problem is different.
So why I ask because I find, for example, the same model Chinese language. Chinese language is higher resource language. Let's say,
Chinese?
yeah, area of stems here, for example, section like this. Because your proof that this is all low resource language, it's okay. What about high resource language? Is that acceptable?
This model for higher resource languages.
Because there are studies for high resource language. Safely.
Yes, I agree with you because we can integrate it in the interpret as this hybrid model for not only for low resource, but I mentioned about literature review, such as my attention was only most of attention was in low. Yes, I think that why not? Because for example, in a Chinese, also difficult languages, and here it can be also helpful to understand the meaning and understand that exactly identify the meaning word or maybe sentences. In this case, why not? Then we can integrate the word with an additional data set, additional topological analysis with a rule based. And
how long does it you spend for training?
for training,
Uh-huh.
for training, you can spend the long for training the models, I spent more than 1 year. 1 year time because I'm checking in a different way what models will be more better.
1 year for training. For training your models.
For task. For one task.
How so for training, how long did you spend for training your model?
Sorry, I meant I understand this prepare for training, if it's among more than 20 hours without non-stop.
20 hours in GPU or CPU?
In CPU.
Okay.
So, did you get the full answer?
Sorry,
Any questions, dear members, any questions? Questions, dear members? Professor Kolesnikov, maybe we have some questions.
May I ask another question?
Екатерина Викторовна, вопрос есть у вас? Включили микрофон.
Hello, yes, I have one little question. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. What are the main advantages and limitation of your models compared to the multilinguistical models and other multilinguistical models?
Thank you so much, Katerina Viktorovna, for the questions. Thank you so much for the question. And if we compare with multilingual models and with my solutions, as I mentioned, we firstly about high accuracy, it's increasing for more than 512% precision and accuracy for the model. And the advantages of model is working with again in repetition in same time with morphological analysis, also based on the rule-based models and about mirror post-tagging. In this case, if you mention, for example, separately, yes, here will be compete. We can either models can compete with my model, but when we talk about in the same time, different tasks for one model, here will be, of course, my model will be more flexible than others. In this case, this will be advantages. Also, other advantages is open access because other integrations may be also realized, but no open access.
Okay, thanks.
Yes, sir. Mr.
I have one additional question. So you have this architecture Casbert plus BLSTM plus CRF. So in general, this architecture is a more or less standard approach, but one component novelty is that you adding instead of BERT to Casbert. Yes, how I understand. But see, what is in your opinion? What is the architecture? So how you can define the architecture? So you can in several sentences just describe what in your opinion is architecture.
Architecture. For example, my architecture consists of different layers. Input layers are presented here in the slide. We will also mention this kind of architecture. For Q color, it will be other a little bit architecture about, for example, in the Q color, it's about input layers, about decision layers, about the trading. Trade collection layers, and after that, when we also QNLP library, here I can divide it for this kind of basis architecture as data set preparation, trading, test, and evaluation.
Okay.
As I mentioned, I divided for trading 80%, 10% for testing, and 10%.
Okay, and the question is that. So it is you have different numbers of layers, different structure of your model. So architecture is somehow structure of your model what you want to train. But if you will not consider the structure of the model, but you will just replace some data, is your architecture will be changed? Can you consider the changing of data, what was used for training, as a changing in architecture? This is the question.
If you change data set, yeah.
Yes.
If we change data set, nothing will happen.
Yes. So for example, you have Casbert
Yeah.
and you have BERT,
Yeah.
some standard. In my opinion, I don't have exact information, but in my general opinion, that maybe it is only the difference that the Casbert is was fine-tuned on the Kazakh data, especially. It's somehow more advanced, fine-tuned version of BERT on the Kazakh dataset, my opinion. And maybe can you consider this fine-tuning model, fine-tuned as a some new type of architecture, for example, when you just fine-tuning this model on the dataset, new dataset?
Here will be difficulties with uploading models. Why not? We can really replace something and maybe replace data, maybe replace models, but we also must be following according to the, for example, in post tagging and cleaning, we have exactly DOA tagging as annotation. This kind. In this case, for example, CRF and the BOMST will be understand this kind of logic. If we replace maybe Casbert for BERT, here why not? But here different task and we anyway must be in the fine tune. For example, in the fine tune, we can add additional maybe data set, maybe add for CRF other layers. Why not? Yes, we can, but it must check what happens with my accuracy and precision.
Okay.
Models.
Yes.
In this case, we can fine tune React training model and check abilities and behavior.
So you're thinking that just adding the new data set, retraining, you can consider it as changing in architecture in general.
If we change data set,
Yes, if you just changing the data set and retrain the model, you can consider it as a new architecture.
not a new architecture. It's a stable architecture, but new data. Yeah.
Yes.
Architecture will be stable.
Okay. Yes, thanks. And another last question is, so I don't remember the slide number, but in one of your tasks, you mentioned that you're doing some knowledge extraction. Knowledge extraction. Could you please open this slide?
Knowledge extraction, but can you come here?
Yes, knowledge extraction. And could you please tell us your definition of what is a knowledge extraction in this context?
Mm-hmm.
What is the task of knowledge extraction?
Why I draw this kind of pipeline, for example, the meaning here of knowledge extraction in two directions is a rule-based and hybrid model, such as knowledge extraction of rule-based or morphological analysis here. And for near and post will be for hybrid models or deep learning models.
See, what my question is that, for example, you have in standard literature, knowledge extraction is when you extracting some knowledge from the text, high-level knowledge. Maybe it is even not language independent, some knowledge. For example, you have some corpus of text, you have real world, and you want to collect some knowledge about the real world from your textual corpus. You want to build the model of your world, external world. But I think that knowledge extraction, it's questionable. Is it proper term to use it for some NLP, pre-processing task? Can we consider this as knowledge extraction in the classical term definition?
You mentioned such as maybe this word not suitable for this slide.
Yes, because it is in general, it is both some semantic analysis, maybe morphological analysis, but knowledge extraction is more high-level process when you solve all this preliminary task and then you start operating by knowledge. Knowledge is something about the real world data, about your some human society, maybe when you start extracting some data from the text. But
with this slide, I decided to describe how the Q-crawler work and general how it's working. About knowledge extraction, yes, I agree with you in the general about, but I decided to use this word, right? Because knowledge instruction from group based and deep learning models. In this case,
So you're considering just low level
Yeah.
knowledge instruction. Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Just the last one, Professor Oxenberg.
Yes, please.
Yes, thank you very much. Maybe any questions from council members? No? No questions? Если вопросов больше нет от членов диссертационного совета, то слово предоставляется научному консультанту, соискателю Сатыбалдиевой Стандракановой. Пожалуйста, Стандракановна, ваш отзыв. Микрофон не включили, расскажи как. Вы микрофон не включили.
Так, окей. Слышно меня, да? Здравствуйте, уважаемые члены комиссии. Так, окей. Dear members of the dissertation committee, let me read my review. And I have two versions on Russian and English. I think maybe choice English version. Yeah. How do you think?
Hello.
Okay. So, review on the PhD thesis by Әйтім Ә.Қ entitled Models and Methods for the Automatic Processing of Unstructured Information, submitted for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in the education program Clever Systems. The thesis presented by Әйтім Ә.Қ is comprehensive research study focused on one of the most relevant and technologically demanding problems in modern computational linguistics, the development of an integrated architecture for the automated processing of unstructured Kazakh language text using advanced methods of artificial intelligence and machine learning. In the context of Kazakhstan ongoing digital transformation and the rapid growth in the volume of Kazakh language textual data, media, blogs, governmental services, educational and legal documents, there is a pressing need for robust NLP tools that are tailored to the morphological, synthetic, and semantic features of the Kazakh language. To date, despite several partial initiatives, no complete solutions exist and adequately address the full range of tasks, including morphological analysis, part of speech, shortly post tagging, named entity recognition, synthetic semantic parsing, word form generation, and question answering, especially considering the agglutinative nature of Kazakh language. The work of Әйтім responds to this urgent demand by proposing a linguistically and architectural sound multi-level system situated at the intersection of computational linguistics, neural network technologies, and national language development strategies. The aim of the thesis is to construct a comprehensive intelligence system for the automatic processing and of unstructured Kazakh language textual information based on modern deep learning methods and linguistic modeling. To achieve this, the following objectives were addressed: the creation of a large representative corpus of Kazakh text, automated cleaning, normalization and structuring of data, development of a post-tagging model according to for Kazakh morphological features, implementation of a custom morphological analyzer and word form generator, training of models for semantic role labeling, SRL, and reference resolution, and the integration of all components into a unified library called QNLP. The thesis is structured into logically connected chapters, progressing from theoretical foundations to practical implementation, problem formulation and motivation, review of existing approaches, corpus construction and pre-processing, development of a morphological analyzer, design and training of neural models, and finally, integration into the QNLP library with extensive experimental evaluation. The scientific novelty of the research lays in the development of the first comprehensive NLP library for Kazakh QNLP, supporting the full pipeline of text processing. The work introduces an original morphological analyzer, and the word form generator adapts Kaz-BERT plus BLSTM plus CRF for POS and NER tasks and builds a manually annotated corpus for training and evaluation. Additionally, the author formalized the structure of Kazakh morphology and proposed linguistically informed analytical algorithms. The practical significance of their work is demonstrated by the fact that QNLP is already being used in scientific, educational, and technological projects, including social media analysis, automated evaluation of student writing, topic and entity recognition in news media, and Kazakh language chatbot systems. All models have been tested, include proper documentation, and are distributed as open source software, indicated a high level of implementation readiness and potential for wide-scale deployment. The thesis is written to the high scientific standard, logically organized and supported with clear diagrams, tables, charts, linguistic examples, and code snippets. The author demonstrates deep understanding of both and the linguistic and technical aspects of the problem, applies a wide range of analytical tools, and maintains a formal academic style. The research results have been published in peer-reviewed journals and presented in international conferences, confirming their recognition and value to the scientific community. Based on the above, I conclude that the dissertation models and methods for the automatic processing of unstructured information is a completed independent research work that fully meets standards for dissertation in this specialty. The author, Әйтім Ә.Қ, fully deserves to be awarded the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in the education program ADO 6101, Clever Systems. Thank you. Also, on top of that, I want not Aygerim's determination, and by this research year, she can show how can be do some research works, and I think she can be continue this work and will be a good researcher in the future. Thank you.
Спасибо, Раскажи Канна. Слово предоставляется зарубежному научному консультанту для подготовления курсов. Профессор Вальдемар Вильсон. Профессор, are you here?
Professor Valdemar. So it's your turn to express your opinion and your review about Aygerim's work. We cannot hear you. No, we cannot hear you. Although your microphone is on.
На связи, да? Может, вы включите благую связь открывается? И не слышно.
Так же читание.
Да, вас не слышно. Здравствуйте.
Зачитай так лучше.
Скажите, что вас читаю. Все хорошо. Зачитаем тогда. Шаг. Все, спасибо.
In the review on the PhD thesis by Әйтім Ә.Қ. entitled Models and Methods of Automatic Processing of Unstructured Information, submitted for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in the specialty Privacy Systems, the review of foreign research supervisor. The presented thesis by Әйтім Ә.Қ. is a full-fledged independent and relevant scientific research performed at a high academic level. The work is devoted to the development of models and methods for automatic processing of unstructured textual information in the Kazakh language, which is an extremely important and timely task in the field of computational linguistics and intelligent systems. Modern world practice in the field of artificial intelligence demonstrates a steady trend towards expanding the linguistic coverage of digital systems. However, many ability native and low resource languages such as Kazakh still lack high quality, open and fully functional tools for automatic text processing. Әйтім's dissertation responds to this challenge by offering a comprehensive solution covering all major levels of linguistic analysis, from morphology to semantics. Within the framework of the dissertation, a full stack of intelligent models was developed: morphological analysis and generation, partial markup, named entity recognition, semantic role markup, conference resolution, and question answer system. Special attention is paid to the adaptation of modern neural network architectures such as Casper, BLSTM, CRF, and transformer models to the structure of the Kazakh language. The author's morphological generator is implemented taking into account the root structure, suffixation, synharmonism, and morphological rules. Special mention should be made on the original development, the QNLP library, which is a modular, extensible, and open system for complex NLP processing of Kazakh texts. This library is already used in a number of educational and research projects and also demonstrates the potential for industrial applications in the tasks of intellectual analysis of text in the Kazakh language. The dissertation is characterized by high scientific methodological elaboration. They also independently completed all the stages of research, from the collection and pre-processing of the text corpus to training, validation, and comparative analysis of models. All built models have been tested on a specially marked case, and the results have been evaluated using modern metrics of one accuracy. The work meets the requirements of scientific integrity, and key results are presented in publications in international scientific journals and conferences. As a foreign supervisor, I can confidently note the high level of independence, academic maturity, and research thinking of the applicant. My team demonstrated a deep understanding of both the linguistic and computational aspects of the modern problem under study. Your ability to integrate knowledge in the field of applied linguistics and artificial intelligence in practice meets the best international standards for the training of PhD researchers. Considering the above, I believe that the doctoral dissertation models and methods of automatic processing of unstructured information is completed independent research work that meets all requirements of the Committee for Quality Assurance in Science and Higher Education of the Ministry of Science and Higher Education of the Republic of Kazakhstan for dissertations in this specialty, and its author is Әйтім Ә.Қ, who deserves to be awarded the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in the Special Intelligent Systems based on the above. I conclude that the thesis is completed independent research work that fully meets the standards set by the Committee for Quality Assurance for dissertations in this specialty. The author deserves to be awarded the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in the specialty of systems.
Спасибо. Спасибо, профессор Әйтім Ә.Қ. Переходим к следующему этапу нашего заседания, к обсуждению работы. Слово предоставляется официальному резиденту Большеву Анвару Викторовичу, доктор технических наук, профессор кафедры информационной системы КАЗНУ имени Ә.Қ. Большеву Викторович, вам слово. Спасибо, что вы согласились.
Thank you. As you probably, there is some of the required questions for review, and there are my review the 9 pages. Therefore, I ask you allow me read only main part of the answers.
Yes, yes.
Thank you. Yeah, the official review and on the topic model and methods for the automatic processing of unstructured information provided for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy by the Әйтім Ә.Қ. The question is compliance with priority areas of scientific development or government programs. The dissertation corresponds to the objective of the 4 state programs. For example, the national project Digital Kazakhstan, approved by the resolution of Government of Republic of Kazakhstan at the 2017. Also, the dissertation topic corresponds to the priority areas of scientific development, information and communication technology approved by High Scientific and Technical Commission and the Government of the Republic of Kazakhstan. And next is importance of the science. The contribution of this work to science is significant and its importance is well disclosed. And the principle of self-reliance, level of independence is higher. The dissertation work was completed by the authors independently at all stages of scientific research. Principle of the internal unity. The relevance of the dissertation is justified. The next question is the content of thesis reflect its topic. Yes, reflects the content of dissertation, reflects the topic of dissertation on the development of model and methods for automatic processing of unstructured text information in Kazakh language. The purpose and the objectives correspond to the topic of the thesis. Yes, correspond. And all sections and provisions of dissertation are logically interconnected. Yes, completely interconnected. The new solutions, principles, methods proposed by the authors are argued and evaluated in comparison with known solution. there is a critical analysis. That is important questions. Therefore, I will be more read of the answers. The dissertation proposed new methods and architecture aimed in automatic processing of unstructured information in Kazakh language, and their validity is confirmed theoretically and experimentally. There is critical analysis. The developed solution were systematically compared with existing approaches in field of processing available languages. The innovation proposed by the authors includes the combined architecture Kazakh, BRSTM, and CRF, specially adapted for the features of Kazakh languages: agglutination, vowel harmony, pre-word order, and morphological harmony. This allows to significantly increase the accuracy of morphological and syntactic markup compared to the basic verb and LSTM models. Other scientific results and provisions new? Yes, completely new. All of the main provision and scientific results presented on the dissertation are completely new and original, reflect to the author's contribution to the development of natural language processing methods for the Kazakh language and correspond to the current level of research in the field of artificial intelligence and computational linguistics. As the conclusions of dissertation new, completely new, technical and technological, economic, or managerial decisions are new and justified. Validity of main conclusions. All key findings are basic conclusions formulated and in the dissertation and significantly substituted since they are obtained based on the author research, development models, algorithms, and empirical data collected and processed with the framework of this work. Main provisions submitted for defense. The following questions must be answered by the provising separately. First, has the positions been proved? Yes, proved. It is trivial. That is no trivial. Is it new? Yes, it is new. Is it new? Application level. Why? Is it proven in the article? Yes. The principles of reliability of source and information provided. The research methodology is justified and described in detail. And next question is the result of the thesis were obtained using modular methods of scientific research and techniques for the processing and interpreting data using computer technologies. Yes. Theoretical conclusions, models, identified relationships and patterns are proven and confirmed by experimental research. Yes. Important statements are supported to current and reliable scientific literature. Next question, the literature source used are sufficient for the literature review. Next, principle of practical value. First is the dissertation has theoretical significance. Yes. The thesis has practical significance, and there is higher probability of applying results in practice. Yes. Are there suggestions for the practice new, completely new? Quality of writing and design, quality of academic writing higher. And my comment of the dissertation work, I estimated this work is very wide and very high level because the problem of receiving of annotated corpora in area of the neural networks, it is important because neural networks, it is for the train of neural networks, it's oblige me very good quality annotated corpora. Therefore, it's very, I think it's very good work. Also, this comment is, there is some of the duplicate works in the list of reference. Not one, several duplicated. And scientific level of doctoral candidate articles of research topic, the scientific level of the applicant's publication fully completes with the recurrent of the PhD dissertation. And my decision about this, the presented dissertation for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, PhD, by Әйтім Ә.Қ on the topic models and the methods for the automatic processing of unstructured information meets the requirements of rules. The authors deserve to petition for the committee for the award of the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, PhD. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor. And maybe I begin if you would like to listen to the viewers.
So thank you so much, Professor Bashar Murikovich. Yes, I agree with you. I think that is a human level. Some references really didn't get, and I forget about deleting some duplication, several duplication of references. Yes, I agree with you, and thank you for the recommendations. Thank you for reading fully my thesis, and I agree with comment that with the recommendations of
Next, our reviewer, Mamabak Ketulavich, please, you
Салют, құрметті әріптестер. Я зачитаю свою рецензию. На диссертационную работу Әйтім Ә.Қ на тему модели методов химической обработки и структурной информации, представленная степень доктора философии по образовательной программе 8.06 интеллектуальной системы. Ну, здесь основные критерии. Первый критерий – это соответствие по направлению. Здесь соответствует. Здесь рассматривается 4 уже программы. Первая – это национальный проект, это цифровой Казахстан. Концепция развития языка, конечно, исследование казахского языка. И поэтому соответствует стратегии план развития Казахстана по науке. Вот таким программам соответствует. Следующая работа вносит существующий вклад. Конечно, здесь цель уже определена, вносит научный вклад уже хороший. Все это доказано при этом работе. Принцип самостоятельности, ну, конечно, уровень очень хороший, потому что это доказано в научных публикациях. Теперь обоснованность. Конечно, обоснована с тем, что эти существующие ограничивают возможности прямых адаптаций с новой моделью, созданной на основе для английских эффективных языков, так как английский и немецкий еще он сравнительно показывает свои архитектуры Каспер с другими моделями, таким образом обоснован. Содержание, конечно, отражает. Здесь каждый раздел, каждый пункт показывает, как все это слаженно и логично идет. Цель, задачи, все соответствует. Авторами были опубликованы хорошие работы. Это уже доказывает публикация уже украинского журнала «Европа». Европа журнал. Здесь опубликованы статьи еще рекомендованы комитетом, который сфера высшего образования опубликованы. Это доказывает, что научный вклад очень хороший. В статье показывают и другие научные начинки. Выбор методологии, да, методология есть, методология еще сравнительным анализом основана. Есть корпус, который применил, получил модель. Все это доказывает, что диссертационная работа соответствует поставленным критериям. Здесь замечание почитаем. В литературном обзоре представляется англоязычная работа, что, с одной стороны, отражает международный уровень исследования, но с другой недостаточно учитывается локальный контекст. Следовательно, шире привлечь исследования, выполненные на казахском, русском, можно на аббревиативных языках, можно взять и другие языки. Если вот сложные, киргизский, узбекский, немножко подальше, если получить азербайджанский, это было уже лучше. Ну и объективными языками еще относятся и корейский, еще сложный по структуре. Можно было еще усложнить и получить хорошую модель. Но все это можно улучшать в будущем. Изложенные выше замечания имеют рекомендательный характер и не оказывают существующее влияние на научное значение, прикладную ценность полученных результатов. В конце заключения представлена диссертация на искание степени доктора философии Әйтім Ә.Қ. на тему модели и метода автоматической обработки неструктурной информации является законченной самостоятельной научно-исследовательской работой, которая отвечает по присуждению степени, а ее авторство служит ходатайством перед комитетом присуждения степени доктора философии. Но английский вариант на его рецензию уже в онлайн-режиме стоит. Кто будет интересоваться, наверное, почитает. На двух языках уже рецензия. Спасибо большое.
Спасибо рецензентам. Официальное обсуждение закончено. Рецензенты дали положительные отзывы диссертации соискателя. Переходим к следующему этапу, к открытой дискуссии. Кто хочет выступить, прошу, выступают члены диссертационного совета. Пожалуйста, вначале члены диссертационного совета, потом могут выступить все желающие. Пожалуйста, слово. Наверное, те, кто задавал вопросы, имеют возможность сказать свое мнение, да?
Так, я хотел сказать, что, в принципе, работа очень интересная. В принципе, тема тоже достаточно релевантная, потому что, в принципе, сама тема, она вбирает очень большой объем задач, начиная от морфологического анализа, препроцессинг, сбор данных. То есть здесь, когда вот докторанты берутся за такие темы, они, может быть, изначально не совсем представляют себе сложность этой задачи. Потому что там, на самом деле, вот эти темы, это целые научно-исследовательские институты должны заниматься. А тут выходит докторант и решает эти задачи, что достаточно отрадно. Вот. И поэтому сама тема, она очень актуальна, потому что в современное время вы знаете, что все вот эти технологии, они все входят в нашу жизнь, везде нужны речевые технологии, в тех же самых часах, то есть это, поэтому актуальность, она даже без сомнения. И сами задачи, они достаточно, вот эта сама область, она достаточно конкурентная. То есть то, что вот поэтому я и спрашивал насчет больших языковых моделей, там, то есть, потому что когда докторант может начать эту работу, технологии, пока вы завершите, уже технологии могут поменяться, технологический цикл может пройти, поэтому здесь тоже достаточно рискованно, но понятно, что вы за всеми технологиями не угонишься, но поэтому здесь, в принципе, тоже есть как бы над чем дальше работать. Те же самые вот эти большие языковые модели вставлять в свои исследования. Ну, то есть это на дальнейшее уже на ваш. А так, в целом, я считаю, что работа, она достаточно хорошая. Здесь проведены, имеются все необходимые компоненты, начиная от там, сбора данных, алгоритмов, архитектур и кончая какой-то конкретной программной реализацией. То есть все сделано в таких лучших традициях. Даже вот все эти исходные коды выставлены, то есть, в принципе, так формально даже не к чему, как говорится, никакие эти замечания сделать, такие по формальной стороне. Ну и сам докторант, она показала достаточно хороший уровень владения материалом. Она грамотно на все вопросы отвечает, что показывает ее хорошую подготовку. И все содержание работы, оно отражено в этих публикациях, что публикации, они очень релевантны по содержанию с темой и вообще с содержанием самой работы. Поэтому я считаю, что нужно поддержать докторанта, и я бы рекомендовал совет проголосовать за то, чтобы присудить ей ученую степень PhD доктора по профилю.
Спасибо большое. Thank you so much. Maybe someone want to share your opinion, want to express own opinion. Dear professors, you can express your opinion on the dissertation Әйтім Ә.Қ. Maybe Professor Ali Nurashikin, can you share your opinion? Can you express your opinion?
Hi, everyone. Thank you very much. It's very interesting. I appreciate the integration of both rule-based and machine learning approaches that she used for a low-resource language. It is something new because it involves morphological analysis, while we also have in Malaysia for Malay language, we use parser. So this is something very interesting. Congratulations.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you. Уважаемые члены диссертационного совета, можете высказать свое мнение. Есть желающие еще? Может, желающие гости, приглашенные, хотят добавить какое-то свое мнение, высказать. Пожалуйста, самый приятный момент наступил. Просим поддержать Әйтім. Да, представьтесь, скажите.
Я благодарю всех членов комиссии за высокую оценку работы Әйтім, потому что я знаю эту девочку как свою студентку, затем мою коллегу, друга, и знаю, какой упорный, серьезный это человек. И вот эта диссертация, результат ее труда, достойная награда за ее труд, за работу. Я хотела бы поблагодарить вас и Айгерим за то, что она сделала эту работу на очень высоком уровне. Всем спасибо.
Спасибо, коллеги. Переходим к следующему этапу. Так, следующий этап у нас, согласно регламенту, переходим к процедуре тайного голосования. Для проведения процедуры тайного голосования нам нужно избрать состав счетной комиссии. Предлагается следующий состав из числа присутствующих офлайн. Мусабаев Рустам Рафикович, председатель счетной комиссии. Умаров Батырхан Султанович, член диссертационного совета, член счетной комиссии. Балакова Мадина Тавигенова, член счетной комиссии. Уважаемые члены совета, прошу проголосовать за озвученный состав счетной комиссии. Пожалуйста. Счетная комиссия избрана единогласно. Мы переходим к процедуре тайного голосования. Прошу всех присутствующих выйти для проведения тайного голосования. Остаются только члены диссертационного совета и официальные рецензенты. Зрители, подключившиеся онлайн, также просим вас выйти из видеоконференции. Объявляется перерыв для проведения голосования.
Dear colleagues who is online, I sent you a link for the voting to your email.
Мы тоже покидаем, да, сессию?
Professor Norashikim, have you got my, yes, okay, thank you.
Продолжаем работу диссертационного совета. Для оглашения результатов тайного голосования слово предоставляется председателю счетной комиссии. Рустам Рафикович, пожалуйста.
Комиссия избрана для подсчета голосов при тайном голосовании по вопросу защиты диссертации Әйтім Ә.Қ на тему Models and Methods for Automatic Processing of Unstructured Information, представленной на соискание степени доктора философии PhD по специальности ОП 8D06101 «Интеллектуальные системы». Присутствовало на заседании 7 членов диссертационного совета и 2 официальных рецензента. Из них 8 специалистов по профилю рассматриваемой диссертации. В тайном голосовании приняли участие официальные рецензенты Тукеев Ольшер Ануарбекович и Мамырбаев Уркен Жумажанович. Тайное голосование проводилось в традиционном для присутствовавших офлайн и электронном для присутствующих в онлайн формате. Роздано бюллетеней 9, из них бумажных бюллетеней 7, электронных бюллетеней 2. Результаты голосования. Ходатайствовать перед комитетом для присуждения соискателю Әйтім Ә.Қ степени доктор философии PhD 9. Направить диссертацию на доработку 0, направить диссертацию на повторную защиту 0, отказать в ходатайстве перед комитетом для присуждения соискателю степени доктора философии 0. Поздравляю.
Спасибо, Рустам Рафикович. Кто за то, чтобы утвердить протокол счетной комиссии? Прошу голосовать. Протокол счетной комиссии утверждается единогласно. Спасибо. Таким образом, диссертационный совет по направлению подготовки 8D061 информационно-коммуникационной технологии при АО Международный университет информационных технологий на основании публичной защиты диссертации Әйтім Ә.Қ на тему Models and Methods for the Automatic Processing of Unstructured Information принял решение ходатайствовать перед комитетом о присуждении соискателю Әйтім Ә.Қ степени доктора философии PhD по образовательной программе 8D06101 «Интеллектуальные системы». Поздравляем, соискателю предоставляется заключительное слово.
Thank you so much, Karina. So firstly, I want to tell really big thank you so much for my university, for International Information Technology University, for my department, for information system, for head of department, for staff of department, for helping me, for supporting me, for knowledge, for directions, for recommendation. Thank you so much for information system department. And I also want to thank you so much for dissertation council of our university, of International Information Technology University, for every member, for chairperson, for technical secretary, for every member of this dissertation, for supporting, for recommendations, for giving me the right directions in the path. I'm so proud to be full graduate of our university. I graduated bachelor, master, in the doctoral PhD level in this university, and they're really proud to be graduate of this university. Thank you so much for official reviewer for Sharon Bekovich and for Urken Zumazhanovich for giving all recommendations, for giving recommendations for the future. What will be, what can I do in the future? What will be maybe some improvement of my dissertation? Thank you so much. It's really interesting feeling when you see the surname in the internet, in the literature reviews. This really famous person is Рустам Рафикович, Sharon Bekovich, Tinara Tugirbekovna, and Urken Zumazhanovich, and all other scientists which really add all contribution in this direction, and the work and the see the recommendation, the questions for my topic. I'm really proud to work with this so famous scientist in Kazakh. Thank you so much for guest my colleague who really every time, anytime support me, for Madin for correcting all my documentation, for answering all my questions, for any time at night, in the morning, and also the big hard thank you so much for my supervisor, for Zasedание Sanjarkana. 8 years, my supervisor for master degree also continue work with a doctoral level. Thank you so much for Sanjakanna. For now, Sanjakanna in other country, in this case, anytime participate for my work, give me recommendation for my presentation, for everything. Thank you so much, Sanjakanna. I'm really proud to be your doctoral student, and I'm really proud of you. And for my foreign scientific supervisor, for Valdemar Kuitsu, for supporting me in internship when we go to Poland, give access for Scopus, for literature review, for collecting open access in a Scopus data set. It's really impact on my work and providing correct systematic review, systematic work for and the literature review for my work. Thank you for all of you. Thank you so much. I'm really proud to be here, and it will be honest for me to be here and present my doctoral thesis. Thank you so much for spending own time. I wish you only luck and the best, and of course unlimited inspiration in our direction in the science. So thank you so much.
Sure. Dear colleagues who is online, thank you for joining us. Thank you for your questions, for your participation. Again, see you in the future. Thank you.
Спасибо всем большое. Спасибо. Рада была всех видеть и услышать. Удачи. До свидания.
Коллеги, пожалуйста, приглашаю вас
Здравствуйте. Здравствуйте. Как вы?
Ничего.